Hi, my name's Danielle. I'm also known as the Breastfeeding Mentor, and this is how to stop breastfeeding gently and responsively, because weaning does not have to be a harsh or traumatic process, even if your little one is boob obsessed. First, I want to talk about some really common, but in my view, terrible weaning advice that you should avoid like the plague. So the first one that I hear all the time is just go away for the weekend in the hope that your little one's somehow going to magically forget about breastfeeding, or they'll be so angry with you that they won't want to breastfeed anymore. This was actually advice that was given to me by my own GP. No medical backing at all, it was just what she did herself in the 70s. For me, this is just a perfect example of how cold and avoidant many kind of old school approaches to parenting are. I really hate this advice because firstly, there is no guarantee whatsoever that it will work, and actually in my personal experience and the hundreds of moms that I work with every year, the opposite is true, and actually absence only makes the heart grow fonder, and what's more likely to happen is that your little one nurses like crazy when you're reunited because they've missed you so much. It's also a really bizarre logic to expect that your baby, toddler or child is just going to forget this default way that you have maybe connected and comforted them and supported them to sleep just because you've been away for a few nights. And if your significant other was away for the weekend and then came back and then just suddenly didn't kiss you anymore, there'd be an issue there. You'd be confused and wonder what on earth was going on. And our children are no different. Second, really common but terrible advice when it comes to stopping breastfeeding is to put lemon juice or aloe vera or even chili powder or plasters or band-aids over your nipples to stop your child from wanting to nurse. And you don't need any kind of background in child development or psychology to understand why that might be low-key traumatic for your child. It does not have to be so harsh and unkind. And lastly, I don't recommend that anyone who has a choice in the matter stops breastfeeding cold turkey. It's not good for you and your body and your hormonal fluctuations. They'll just be wild, and it just doesn't have to be this harsh or sudden process. It's also, I think, really difficult to expect your child to adjust again from what may have been, the number one way that you connect, and just suddenly be okay with an alternative without a period of transition. That's enough about what not to do. Here are my top 3 tips for gentle, responsive weaning. First, focus on communication. Even if you're stopping breastfeeding a baby who's as young as maybe 6 months old, remember that everything about you is communicating something to your child. And babies as young as 6 months old can recognize a variety of different facial expressions. Children are notoriously intuitive little beings, and they can sense when we are stressed or anxious or worried about a situation. So as far as you possibly can, make your communication about stopping breastfeeding calm and relaxed and low pressure so that your little one doesn't pick up on the anxiety that you might be feeling. If you're struggling with this, I highly recommend that you journal your feelings. I've put some prompts in the caption just to help you make peace with the fact that you're going to stop breastfeeding and to make that transition, as gentle and as stress-free as it possibly can be. Next, I would say take your time. Don't expect weaning to be this overnight process, because I think we're a little bit obsessed, certainly in the UK and the US, with, get potty trained in 3 days or sleep trained in a week. And actually, life is messier than that. Human beings are messier than that. And it's unlikely that you're going to move away again from this, consistent and biologically driven source of love and comfort for your baby, toddler, or child overnight. So don't rush the process. Take your time, drown out the noise, and go at a pace that suits you and your family. And my final tip is to make connection the focus of your weaning journey, not separation, because in my experience and that of the moms that I work with on a daily basis, actually it's connection that our little ones are seeking at the breast. And so if we're moving away from nursing, we need to bridge that gap and figure out how we're going to meet that need for comfort and connection in other ways. It is unrealistic and unfair to expect a baby, toddler, or child to suddenly be independent, I'm not completely independent of my mother. She helps us with childcare and emotional support, mental support. I'm 37 years old, and that's normal. We're not supposed to mother or parent or live in isolation. It's okay if your child, however old they are, still needs your support to sleep. As their mother, it's kind of one of our jobs to reassure and love and connect with our children. So make connection the focus of your weaning journey. If you'd like a little bit more support on your weaning journey, you can get my 40-page guide, Weaning with Love, via the link in the caption, and it will guide you through stopping nursing to sleep, introducing other comforts, night weaning, and ultimately stopping breastfeeding completely in a way that isn't traumatizing for you or your family, and in a way that reflects your gentle, peaceful, respectful parenting philosophy. Thank you so much for being here. See you soon.